Hello students, how are you? Fine? Okay, hopefully you're always good. And now, welcome again to our class Speaking 3. And for today, we are going to see about work routines. That's the next unit that we are going to learn. Okay, the concept of work routines, the concept for this topic is actually it will express the routine activity. Okay, routine activity completed with the frequency. I'm going to explain you about the frequency later. Okay, but once again we are going to see about routine activity completed with the frequency. And exactly because this is talking about the routine activity, we are going to take the example from the routine administrative or secretarial activities. Okay, routine administrative or secretarial activities, because you will be a secretary, exactly that you have to know the routine administrative activities. Okay, so firstly you have to be able to mention or make a list of administrative activities. Could you please mention some? For example, I answer incoming calls, I deal with the email inquiries, she takes minutes, for example, or she always organizes travel and accommodations, he arranges, for example, events and etc. Yeah, those are the routine administrative or secretarial activities. I think you have to know this first before coming to this unit. By the way, do not forget to open your handout also. Okay, and then because we are talking about the work routines, the formula that we are going to use is about simple present tense. For the last meeting, we took present perfect tense, but now we are going to have simple present tense. I do not have to explain about this. I assume that all of you have known this well because actually you learned this before. I don't know whether it is in elementary school or uh, senior high school. Yeah, okay, but I'm sure that this is actually the basic concept, the formula that you have to be able to mention about the simple present tense. Yeah, so for example, now Sandra manages, it is not only manage, but manages meetings and appointments. Mary and Jack check the financial documents. Okay, if you are not familiar with this one, I think you should try to understand first about the concept of simple present tense. Okay, you have to be able to have more sentences first using this. That can be about the positive one, negative one, or affirmative one, interrogative one. Okay. Um, Regarding with this topic, work routines, in which that the formula is using simple present tense, we are going to use also these words, the definite one and indefinite frequency. Okay, so for example, the definite one, for example, once a day, twice a week, once a month. Okay, I'm going to try to underline once, twice, okay, or three times, or daily, weekly, monthly, or every. Okay, these are the frequency of the definite ones. The definite ones. Definite means that yes, it's clear about once a day or twice a week. It's clear. But we also have indefinite. It means that it is not definite, and people will have their own understanding about indefinite. For example, if I say I usually take minutes of meeting, I usually take minutes of meeting, the word usually is different. For example, James will have his own perception of the word usually. It's going to be different with, for example, Sandra. And then the word sometimes. Mr. James sometimes, for example, Mr. James sometimes arrange appointments. Mr. James sometimes arranges appointments. The perception of sometimes of Mr. James and the perception of the word sometimes for other persons will be different. So that's why we call this as indefinite, because it is not as certain as definite. You got it, guys? Okay. Yeah. So that's about how you try to use the frequency, definite frequency or indefinite frequency. I have a sentence like this. Sandra manages appointments. When we are going to use this, Sandra usually manages appointments, it means that you are going to use about indefinite. Okay? And if you are using about every day, it means you are going to use about definite frequency. Okay? You may just choose one of them. You may have the definite frequency or indefinite frequency. Look at the sample of the conversation in the handout. Okay? You will find some sentences showing us about routine activities using definite or indefinite frequency. For example, I often have to type letters for the departmental managers. Or I sometimes have to type up minutes of meeting. You can do underline. Yeah, underline the sentences talking about the work routines. After this, you may try to practice yourself, mentioning about the administrative activities using frequency as many as possible. Okay, so once again, after this one, you can practice yourself, mentioning about the administrative activities using frequency as many as possible. And the subject, it is not always I. The subject is not always I. You can change the subject into she, Mr. James, the managers, for example, Miss Sandra, for example, or Miss Karen and Miss Hillary, for example. So it is not going to be only using I. Okay, and remember about the use of simple present tense. Subject, verb 1, using S or ES. Do not forget on that. Yeah, right. I think there is no more that I can explain because the material is actually easier for you to understand. Something different here, it is only about the administrative activities that you have to make a list that first. Okay, now would you please try to look at the practice 1 and 2, student A or B, and then after that you can practice that with anyone you're comfortable with. Okay, because I'm sure that without practicing, there will be nothing for these um, subjects. And then, like what I told you for the previous meetings, when you showed me the progress last meeting, would you please try to develop and elaborate the conversation? Not just question and simple answer, question, answer, question, answer. No, you just try to develop and elaborate your conversation. Don't forget to take your imagination. Like what I told you before, you are not a student here, but you are a staff. It means that both of you are staffs or both of you are managers and you are talking about the activities in the office. And as usual, next meeting, I'm going to see your progress. Okay, guys? Um, yeah, actually there is a video here about the protocol of health coming from the government, but I'm going to show you in another file later on. Okay, fortunately that the video can be opened well. Okay, so I think you have to follow this, what the government says about the protocol of health, that you have to wear mask. Okay, I think you don't have to go to anywhere if it is not too important for you. And then wash your hands regularly, and don't forget, just try to keep social distancing. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. Good luck. Do not forget to review the handouts. Okay, you can see also about your administrative activities. Don't forget to make a list first, and then after that you try to understand the concept of the formula. And then after that you have to practice with your friends that you are comfortable with. Do not forget that this is a skill, not a theory, so you have to practice. Good luck then. See you.